fans. Welcome to the 12th edition. We're going to switch gears a little bit today with our workout. It's going to be a little bit unorthodox, but I'm hoping that you can indulge me a little bit, because I think what I have to say and what I'm going to introduce to you is quite profound and impactful, not only for squash, which I'll explain the reasons why for, but I think just in the broader sense life, and in coping, especially during times like these, where health becomes kind of a concern, and ways that we can improve our health, ways to look after ourselves, ways to reconnect with the most healthy version of who we can be. So today's workout or session is going to focus on breath control and breathing, in essence. So breathing is one of those things that we take for granted. It's kind of an involuntary thing that happens outside of our awareness, and I think today is more about bringing it into awareness and helping to use it and to leverage off its possibilities. Breath is one of those things that's there from the first minute of life, and it'll be there with you till the very last minute of life. And I think it's important to harness, and I think, as I mentioned before, it's kind of one of those things we just think is there and we don't think too much about it, but it has a profound impact on our physiological systems, on our psychological well-being, and based on the work that I engage in, I've found it to be a really important aspect of overall mental well-being. So I think from a squash perspective, you'll all realize that being a cardiovascular sport, it's really important for recovery. It helps us obviously with our stamina. It helps us compete at a certain level and can be useful on a squash court. So I think being aware of your breath really helps you between points, monitoring how you're breathing, monitoring the kind of breaths you're taking. There's differing breaths and depths, which I'll get into. And then also between games, I think you've got 90 seconds, you want to maximize that time, and if you can really focus in on the quality of your breathing, you can get yourself back up to a performance level where you can then give it your best go and not worry too much about it. So we're building our fitness obviously through the other workouts. We're working all aspects of our bodies, but the essence of this is, how does breath intervene? At what level does it come into play? And it's something I've worked a lot on in my squash career. I've been fortunate enough to go through interventions where I've really had to zone in on and harness breath to try and improve my fitness level, to improve my focus and concentration. It's quite vast in the ways that I've used it in my life in general. So I want you to think about your breath a little bit more, and by doing that, we're going to try some exercises. The first one is, it's belly breathing. So there's two different kinds of breaths you can take. The one is quite shallow. It's more in your chest area, and it's more like a panting. It's not a very satisfying breath. It helps you get by in the next moment, but it doesn't actually give you that burst of oxygen you may be looking for. And we call it diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, and that's really from your stomach area. You'll feel it swell up like a balloon. So you really want to focus in on using the area underneath your rib cage to try and inflate first when you take a deep breath, and then working the breath up into your body. So today is really about connecting with that belly breathing and how to do that. So the way I usually teach it in session is to place both hands, one on your chest, one on your stomach. And what you want to focus on is when you're breathing, I'm going to try and turn at an angle here. When you're breathing, you want to see this bottom hand move first, followed by the top hand. So chest breathing, you'll see the top hand working quite hard. Belly breathing, you'll see the bottom hand move and then fill up to the top. So really focus on stretching that diaphragm. It'll feel quite strange and awkward if you've never done this before. It can be uncomfortable and a bit painful, but just go with it. Try and get into that sensation and filling from the bottom up. Trying to get that inflation happening at the stomach first and then moving up the body. So that's a really easy exercise to do, and it's a quick way to tell actually how you breathe. So try that out first. You can then start doing varying breath patterns. There's lots of them on the internet. If you Google breathing exercises, you'll get a whole printout and various resources. The one that I quite like, and it's very simple: inhale for 3, hold the breath for 3, exhale for 3, and just repeat. Try and be in the moment, try and use it to reconnect with your body, try and be in touch with that breath the whole time. When I inhale, I focus on nasal breathing, so in with the nose. It just helps regulate the intake, so it's not gasping, it's not when you breathe with your nose, it's a bit more gradual, so that allows you to control the breath a little bit more. So inhale with the nose, hold once it's full, so count to 3, hold for 3, and then exhale through the mouth area for a nice satisfying exhale. So that's just the essence, is just trying to breathe but be very aware of your breath. Don't just take it for granted. And I mean, doing this for 5-10 minutes a day can have profound impact on your general well-being, your systems, and there's good research that shows that you can actually impact your physiology using breath, which is something that we didn't know about before. It's something that's come to light, that we can adjust our immune systems, our endocrine systems, our autonomic nervous system by using our breath, which before seemed like science fiction. But there's really good research, and I'm going to direct you to a guy by the name of Wim Hof. I don't know if you would have heard of him. He goes by the nickname the Iceman, and this is an incredible individual, very eccentric and out there. I'm really going to put you onto his stuff, and he's got a few really nice breathing exercises that he does. He does a guided meditation, he does guided breathing. I'll post that the links and the actual videos on for you to do, and that's one of the things I want you to do as the workout. So the first part is just getting in touch with your breath, checking where you breathe from, trying to get the belly breathing concept down, and then you're going to use the concept of that that breathing, that belly breathing, into his guided breathing program. It's an 11-minute video. It's 3 cycles of using your breath to try and regulate your body and trying to get familiar with different breath holds, different patterns of breathing, which can be really important. So this guy he's a former world record holder for diving the longest distance under ice water. He's been in contact with ice for hours on end. He's found a way to tap into his physiology using breath control and various other mental techniques, but breathing is a foundation for him. And he teaches what he calls the Wim Hof method. Sorry, it got tongue-tied. So I'm also going to direct you to his website for any other resources. If this is something you've thought about or tried before with yoga or meditation, it can just be an add-on, or if it's brand new to you, very interesting stuff. As I mentioned, very eccentric individual. He's quite captivating in his own way. So do some research, try and figure out how you can incorporate this stuff into your training. Because I found it to be greatly impactful, not only in squash, but in general life, in any high stress environment. Just regulating your breath, you'll be amazed at how you can approach different situations with a bit more of a clearer mindset. So I'm going to post those 2 videos up. One is just an introduction, it's just an interview with him. He gives you a bit of background into his theory, into his philosophies on life, which are quite interesting, and then the guided breathing exercise, which I want you to attempt. He gets you to do various breath holds, so just challenge yourself a little bit, see how long you can go for. It's a beginner's kind of workout or session, so try it out, and he's got various other resources on YouTube which you can then venture into should this be something you're interested in. So it's something different for today. It's not really an active kinetic exercise, but I do think it's something you can tap into for just your physical well-being, and then obviously your mental well-being. So give it a go. I'd love to hear your feedback, and just enjoy it.